Okay, so I said in the namesake that there were a lot of situations that were, I guess you could say, simultaneously dramatic, but in the sense of the circumstance, I guess it wouldn't really be as dramatic because they were traumatic events. But for instance, I said the whole thing about when Ashok gets in the train crash, and I understood that that's like a traumatic event, but then how it lingers on in his life, I kind of said that that was a little dramatic. How like he never would talk about to let people know. So I guess that's what made it dramatic. But also when Ashima had moved and she was really depressed and it like lasted for days and months and weeks. I get that that was like a huge change, but at the same time she didn't realize that it was affecting other people and she didn't even try. So I think as it progressed she became, I guess, less dramatic. Um, I said the way the kids were raised were examples of a commonplace because even though they had an Indian heritage background, they were still born and raised in America, and their parents still had them do a lot of things that I could relate to, like what they said in the novel, like eating pizza sometimes, and you'd eat like different foods. And being biracial, I had experienced the same thing. Like my parents would give me some types of Asian foods every now and then, but mainly it was like pizza or spaghetti. But then I would still get like bulgogi and kimchi and stuff. So, I mean, I can understand from that how crazy that could be, especially when you're young, like not knowing the difference. Um, I said the way that they showed so many emotions and went through normal American life's experiences, and I guess you could say everyone goes to college all throughout the world, but I mean, there's nothing that can compare to an American regular college experience. They talked about like hitting out of a bowl and going to parties, and when you lose your virginity, it's just certain things that I think in America are totally different in the way we do college versus what they do college. But then again, I want to know because I've only been to college in America. Um, Also, moving to different places, feeling so unattached to Ashima's surrounding makes the character seem real because I lived in Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's a military base, so you move around a lot. So I'm used to moving around, but then still, every time you move, it's still that same feeling of feeling so unattached and lost. Even if it may be in the same town or the same city, it's still another move. It's still your belongings out of a place that you just got comfortable into a whole new place. I mean, just across the street can be totally different. Um, when I first started reading, I was already very interested right off the bat, and I know a lot of people in our class said that they weren't. But for me, I don't know, the first page just kind of struck me, and then as I got deeper and deeper along, I would find myself in the library for hours, even though I planned on being there reading for like an hour and a half. I was in there for almost 3 hours just reading and reading and reading without stopping. And for me, I'm not a big reader, so that was kind of odd, but odd in a good way. Um, I think the way she writes and how the letters were typed on the page, like actually the font words, makes it a little easier. I mean, it's just your standard like regular book. It was no like odd briefing characters in and out like a tale for a time being, or like you having to find out who said what. It was kind of like pretty cut, clear, and dry on how the situation was going, who was in control of the situation, who was saying what, and that there is a narrator and it's not the characters actually talking, unless in dialogue. Um, I also said how their American life experiences. I mean, I'm American, so going and doing all those normal teenage things and moving and going through traumatic experience are all things that I could relate to, even though it might not be the exact same thing. Overall, I love The Namesake, and I think it's an awesome book, and I kind of like it more than A Tale for a Time Being. Thank you.